Bam! Bozo! Hello, Internet. Sorry for the hour-long delay, but not even lightning strikes taking out my power slash and or internet can stop me from doing this trash heap. I'm your
What?
host, Sneaky Devil.
Holy shit!
You're on
Were you
Fanfiction
just
Contempt
waiting
Theater
on pins and
9000.
needles for us, Devil Spidey? That was instant.
And I am joined today by only Atin. Because Max Force is off gallivanting in the distance.
Let's see. I was gonna say we should start coming up with ridiculous reasons every week that Max isn't here.
We should. I think today, this week's excuse for Max is he had to go fight paperwork demons
Mmm.
from the 9/11th base of hell.
Oh boy, just dig that one deeper, why don't you? All right.
I mean, I could have gone like
You know what? We're not gonna say where you could have
I
gone
could have
on
gone
air.
full Godwin there. So I didn't. Clearly, I am superior.
I was gonna say, and for that, we are all eternally thankful.
What, for me being superior or not going there?
Not going there.
Oh, I was really hoping it would be the second one.
I was gonna say we could care less how far up your ass your head is.
This is a true fact. Alright, so, since it is, in fact, Tuesday,
I was gonna say it's Tuesday.
we will be doing what we do every Tuesday, and that's looking at previous fictions that I had a right at. Um,
Because for some
yeah.
reason we think they might be useful.
No, really, I just have a fucking good time reading them again.
I don't, when I say useful, I meant good. My brain. This would be for starting late.
Alright, got the can. I'm ready to go. Yeah.
That's your daily helping of fresh souls.
You know, I have canned souls. You know, it's very hard to acquire.
Well, of course it is. All right. Well, if you'll drop the link for that, I'll queue it up and I'll join you on this craptacular adventure.
Yep. So, where we left last time on this story was, it's a flying, heaping pile of garbage that just so happened to have an attempted romance between John and Ruby that was supposed to be like this sweet romance of him eternally searching for her and falling in love with her again and again, and her always forgetting him and falling in love with him again, because apparently they were hunters with immortal souls since the beginning of time. Now, it did not come off like that. What it came off as fucking really creepy murdery shit. Which is why we're still here. Alright, so let us begin then. Alright, everything's up, yep. Alright, sending a link out to you if you want to follow along.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da.
Da-da-da-da-da! This is gonna suck. Ooh, that's pretty
No
catchy.
need to be so relentlessly positive about our chances here, friend.
Hello, one and all, the magnificent, not really, story that is known as Maybe This Lifetime.
Do you think the author's becoming self-aware?
No. I think he's attempting to be humble. As many of you know, I believe, the count of people that have followed is over 100 now. That is depressing. Holy shit. I have been looking for a person who would help me with just writing the story and other things like that. Well, I think I found the person I would like to work with. Well, a group of people. Meteorite Creature, or I think they call their group Remnant of Past Memories, something like that. I need to check. But anyway, they have some good stories of their own, so making sure to check them all out. Love Triangle Redux is pretty good so far, even though it's half Arcos.
Okay.
Anyway, he goes on about them. Maybe I'll finish this lifetime. To be fair, with the speed some authors go at, I'm just like, okay, you basically just got through what effectively is chapter 1, and that only took you a year. I enjoy your story, sir, but
come on, speed this up a little.
We're gonna be here for quite a while if this is the trend.
And, you know, we'd like to not be here forever.
Okay, so this is probably a flashback. Over 1,000 years. I lost count a couple of centuries ago, but I know it's been a millennia, at least. After they found dust, they didn't need me anymore. They didn't need the monster that they created, but they couldn't kill me. Nothing can. Not even the gates of hell! Okay, hold on fucking second. And there we go. Please roll your eyes.
Yeah,
Not even the gates of hell could stop the embrace of the earth.
The embrace of the earth!
Wow, that is fucking pretentious as fuck! So I
The
left.
last time I encountered something that pretentious, I was playing Kingdom fucking Hearts.
That's pretty bad. So I left. I traveled. And I tried to die.
Seriously? I'm putting this on the level of darkness is eternal.
Yeah. Pretty much.
I mean, you know, all credit to the voice actor who did that nonsense with a straight face.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. Nice.
yeah.
But one day, when I was sleeping in the streets of Haven, I was woken up by a girl. Hey,
of course he's just
are you
sleeping
hungry?
in the
I think I have
streets.
enough line on me to buy you something to eat. That's only if you want to, though.
What? Hey, homeless dude, do you want to eat? I have enough money to buy you food. Only if you want me to buy you food, though.
And truly.
Now, I mean, to be fair, if this was Chicago, they'd probably just ask that you give them the money because you can't trust the homeless people in Chicago because they're probably going to buy drugs.
If I place $5 on the ground and walk away slowly, will you spare me, sir?
I didn't know that we'd become a game of D&D all of a sudden.
Indeed. I gave her a grunt to try and tell her that I don't care. Don't be like that. My name is Rosalind, but my friends call me Rose. What's your name? So this is straight up exactly what we said earlier chapters. Why the fuck doesn't he just look for people named Rose or Rose
and not only
spinoff?
that, how has he gotten away with you because based on the level of effort that we've seen so far, he's just been using the same name for thousands of years at this point.
Several thousands of years, yeah.
And I don't know if he's died and been because if he's died and been reborn at some point during that, then it makes sense as to how he just keeps using the same name. I mean, it doesn't make a ton of sense, but at least he looks different, so no one connects it. But does he look exactly like this statue that's just standing there in Beacon in this story?
I think he said that, yeah.
Well, he said it was his statue.
No, statue of me. I'm assuming by statue of me he means his current body.
Then, I mean, if that's true, then shouldn't someone have remarked on that by now?
Yeah, I
Or
mean, it's not only that. I mean, even in, like, maybe he could have gotten away when it was, like, medievalish. Like, in the current modern age of Ruby,
they have cell phones.
they have cell phones.
They have video calling.
Yeah. They have a search bar. um,
I'm sure they have Remnant Book or
well,
whatever it
it's
is.
not even that. Like, he's the author has had John build up Rose, his eternal companion, as some sort of always in the front line sort of person.
Always at the front fighting for humanity, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah.
And so if that's sort of the thing, so you'd be like, okay, haven't seen her in a couple dozen years, okay, where would she be? Fucking, she's probably at the front lines, so, maybe the fucking schools, you moron.
Or, start combing for reports from the different places about silver-eyed huntresses kicking ass.
I mean, not even
maybe,
that.
Like,
Just like,
maybe you
oh,
missed her.
don't even have to do silver eyes. That can be a physical check later on. Just be like, alright, is there any up-and-coming huntresses named Rose? Or have a nickname of Rose? Gee, that fucking narrowed it down to one?
Like...
Yeah. The author's got some mad plot holes going on here.
Again, maybe if you'd kept this in the dark days of Remnant setting, sure, this would be a perfectly believable story.
Yeah.
That he spends all his days searching for her.
Mm.
But you haven't.
Yeah.
You've put this in the modern setting.
Yeah.
And, based on how easy it is to get into, the most secure thing on the planet,
Oh, yeah.
I doubt that people have privacy settings on Remnant Facebook or
Well,
whatever
I mean,
the hell
not
it
even,
is.
even if there was privacy settings, which I highly doubt. Because, spying was never exactly an issue, and hacking was never an issue either, because, it's all proprietary tech.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even at that level. It's just like fucking asking around, like going to each school, and apparently he's eternally a teenager or something. So just just go to each school and be like, yo, hey, so is there any roses around here?
He's like, hey,
I heard. Did you hear about that student Rose with the silver eyes? No.
What? No.
I'll just be going now then. Like.
I heard there was a really pretty girl with silver eyes here. No, okay. I'll try the next school.
Yeah, no,
I'll come back in a couple of years.
I'm mildly confused with that. But anyway, let's keep going. So we can get some more yucks and then move on to the meat. The thick, throbbing meat.
Careful. You're projecting again.
I can't project for shit, dude.
Alright, let's get on with this.
I swore to myself I was going to kill Ozpin when I got out of the Emerald Forest. I mean, who in their right mind launches a group of teenagers into a grim-infested forest? He didn't even give us a parachute or something like that.
Okay, I want to point out, me and Max, writing this story, had this conversation before. It can't have been if it was actually a problem or dangerous, someone probably would have put a stop to it by now.
Yeah.
All it would take is one report of a kid with one kid with a broken leg dying during initiation. Hey, Ozpin, maybe you shouldn't fire them out of fucking cannons anymore. Just a thought.
Yeah.
So, it can't be that dangerous.
Yeah. I just, yeah. Anyway. Took a deep breath. Ospin's initiation. Kill any of the students, especially Ruby. Birdie, no. Speaking of the devil, turning to my left, I saw Ruby cut a baby Nevermore in half with her scythe. That's an oddly brutal way to introduce Ruby.
I mean, eh? It is combat, like...
I mean, I realize that, but it's just like... brutally dissecting something! Oh, that's my Ruby. I'm just so in love with her.
I mean, we've already established that he's a completely insane stalker.
Yeah, this is true. Not having any way to get her attention, I watched as she used the sniper part of her weapon to fly above the tree line for a short while before she descended into the actual forest. Unfortunately, I couldn't keep track of her.
Like, you know what? You know what I'll say about this? Sneaky, you know this. I'm playing the hell out of Fire Emblem Echoes. Just got it. There's some creepy stalkers in this game.
Yeah.
But you know what?
What?
At least they're totally upfront about it with the people that they're like, hey, I like you. A lot. Possibly in an unhealthy way. I'm not gonna hide this in the slightest, and I'm not gonna creepily follow you everywhere. Oh, okay.
Good for that.
Could you go somewhere else? If you want me to, please go away then. Like, you know, creepy stalkers, sure, but at least they're honest and respectful stalkers.
Deciding to worry about how I would land, not that it would kill me or anything, but broken bones still hurt. I drew my sword, the tree line was approaching. Put my shield on my arm and prayed, come on, you're an immortal! Just do what the best immortals do. Go shield surfing, motherfucker!
I mean, that is the most fun.
Great, now I'm imagining John's shield surfing on the heads of Grim and trees with that fucking Brown Boots Dagon song that Slack's put on.
Why? Why do you do these things?
Because my brain.
Yeah, we've established that your brain's a terrible thing.
Yes, it is. Let's see. Let's move on. Praying, spinning, edge of my shield, ground, empty my stomach, north, walking, a white-haired girl, white hair, blah, 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 describing her, scar running over her left eye, what are you looking at? What happened to your eye? It was a training accident. What are you doing? Find a different partner. Isn't that breaking the rules? I don't want to have a partner that'd be rude enough to ask about an obvious disfigurement. I don't want my partner to be a bitch. Okay, BRB, keep arguing. Why though? Like that's... Oh, hey, what happened to your eye? Because you got this giant fucking scar across it. And, you know, that sounds like an interesting story. Oh, how dare you ask about my obvious disfigurement?
Yeah.
She must have heard me because she turned around. Deep breath to yell at me. Red blur came out of nowhere and slammed into the girl, knocking her over for the second time. I'm sorry to break it to you, but she is my partner. Point to the girl. Who even is she? I'm White Schnee. Harris of the Schnee.
You have too much fun with that idiocy.
Schnee! Largest distributor of Dust and Remnant. And it makes it far more entertaining to imagine them that's how they say it.
I agree with you. That doesn't make it any less idiotic.
Oh, totally. Two of us can be partners. I wouldn't want either of you. You mean it? Because if so, that'd be awesome. Won't work with us. We're amazing. That's bit out of character for Ruby.
I was gonna say, not just that. Like, I'm not saying Weiss was Little Miss happy to be working with you, but she wasn't that big of a bitch.
Yeah, I know. Like, I haven't watched Ruby, but I mean, I've seen enough of it, and between you, between Max, between the clips that I've watched for helping you guys, and between all the fanfiction I've fucking read, I have a general idea of what people's personalities may or may not be like, and what the community's interpretation of those personalities are. Weiss was not that much of a bitch, and it was more along the lines of, I hate you, I don't like you, but we're partners.
It's like, I don't like
and
you,
that's
but
the
it
rules.
looks like I'm going to be working with you.
Yeah. And the community seems really intent on portraying Weiss as this, like, oh, I hate you so much, I will break the rules and look for someone else because I fucking hate you, you piece of garbage shit. I'm gonna fuck you up, bitch, if you don't make me get another partner.
Want her to be like the mega bitch, but
yeah, no,
she's not.
Yeah, I'm just not. Kind of curious about that one. Or child or a Neanderthal. I'm not a child. I drink milk. Rain cloud patted her back. Okay, Ruby, she can't be angry.
I was gonna say, I'm so glad we snuck a terrible, terrible joke from Full Metal in there.
Yeah. I am not. I wash blood, freezing blood in her veins. Dealing with grim, distraction, dying, parked in my words.
Distraction, dying.
Ruby perked up at my words, jumping into the air and pointing a finger into the sky, while her other hand rested on her hip. Don't worry, Weiss, even if you can't be partners with me, I know that John will be great too. And when I find my partner, we'll be the best team ever. What? She's jumping in the air like this? What the fuck even? Title and yelling. I know it's not my place to interrupt, but you should stop yelling. A girl with long red hair. Oh, good. Pyrrha's here. She's my partner. Now we can be the best team ever. Who are you? Pyrrha Nikos. I'm John. She's Ruby. Point at Weiss. That's my partner, Weiss. Growls, Beowulfs. We fight them. Alright, so that's the end of that garbage story. And we'll never be seeing it again because the author hasn't updated
it. Yeah, I mean...
There's only one more chapter.
3.
But... that's not gonna get my yucks, you know?
I see.
Yeah, alright, let's see what we got here. A Death Knight and Remnant?
What, like... Warcraft?
Yeah. I'll link it on out.
I mean, I'm gonna say, if it's a crack story, it could be funny.
Yeah, I don't think it is that, though.
Oh, well then why don't we just preemptively keep the old Edgelord banner up?
We probably should. I will, however, remove it for now because we don't know for certain if this blatantly edgelord material bait is going to be edgelordy.
Okay, come on now. It's Warcraft. It's a Warcraft 3, or not a Warcraft. I mean, I guess it could be Warcraft 3, but it's either a Warcraft 3 or World of Warcraft Death Knight.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, a Death Knight in Remnant. A Death Knight, after battling Gul'dan, is transported to another world with a new threat. Armed with Ashbringer and Frostmourne, his power and strength stripped away. The nightmare shall not begin upon Remnant.
Both of them.
Okay, so I am not current with WoW lore right now.
Uh-huh.
However, I think I did look this up, right?
Uh-huh.
And with the new relic or artifact system that they just introduced in the newest expansion,
okay,
they had an event where you go back to the Frozen Throne,
uh-huh,
and you smash Frostmourne with Ashbringer, and that breaks both of the swords, and then you collect those pieces and reforge it into Frostbringer or Ashmorn,
Okay.
and like it's a custom sword basically. Where you can change the colors, you can make it fire or icy, or and it levels up with you, and yeah. But yeah. So that's the latest expansion though.
Right.
And this was written back in 2016.
Well, you say here's the difference. Those are two separate.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm like, okay, if he was, gonna go do that artifact thing because of the newest expansion, and he acquired both Ashbringer and Frostmourne, I'd be like, okay, I guess. But I mean, if he's just gonna be, if the author's gonna just be like, oh yeah, he has them both, then I'm like, okay,
Because, like, first off, a Death Knight couldn't use Frost,
I mean, a Death Knight can. Marion did.
Ashbringer.
Yeah, Marion did use Ashbringer. It was a corrupted Ashbringer.
Yeah, but it was corrupted. Like, didn't they have to go through a process to corrupt it, though?
No, it was straight up, Marion used Ashbringer he took the Ashbringer from his father and killed him with it, and then when he got turned into a Death Knight, it got corrupted, and turned into Corrupted Bringer. And then he threw it to Tyrion during one of the fights, and by Tyrion catching it, it became normal Ashbringer again. It was a lot of Deus Ex. This is happening because we say so kind of stuff.
Yeah, I was like, I do remember now. I tried not to remember that, because let's be real, it was terrible, but...
Yeah. But, let's continue, and then we'll talk about this, chapter title. The nightmare shall not begin upon Remnant, bringing a new direction of events. What does that even mean? Takes place during Ruby Volume 1, and an alternate universe World of Warcraft character. First attempt at crossover. Okay, so this is 8 chapters with 10k words, and the first chapter is called Chapter 1 Fixed. So I'm not exactly feeling it, Not exactly gonna assume this is gonna be good.
But even leaving that aside, if you first attempted a crossover, now I'm not saying World of Warcraft and Ruby can't go well together. They mesh
it has potential.
Fairly well. I was gonna say they can mesh pretty well, but don't start with your own self-insert, because if you do that, it can be very difficult just to keep them in relatively speaking, it'd be very easy to write Jaina on Remnant, because we all know how Jaina's going to act. These people are suffering, these people need my help, I'll help them however I can.
I mean, it's not only that, I usually do not recommend crossovers for a good couple of stories. You really gotta get used to writing fan fiction before you start writing crossovers, because now you're not just writing one universe's characters. You're writing 2 universes' characters talking and interacting with each other. And that's twice the amount of characters that you now have to keep in character in a completely new situation that you have nothing to base off of.
Yeah. And like I said, while some of them it's pretty easy to figure out roughly how they'd act.
Yeah.
I mean, and sure,
but
someone like Jay would be I'm in another world. That's not weird for me.
Yeah, I mean, but the other important aspect about that is that the butterfly effect. You know, it's gonna be like way different. You know, there's gonna be way more butterflies occurring if, you know, fucking Jaina or OC Death Knight appears in Remnant than, oh, you know, John is not trash. What if John wasn't trash and he then proceeded to fuck Yang, Ruby, Nora, and Pyrrha? You know, that's gonna have far less butterfly effects occurring than someone from a different world ripping a portal into this one and then doing things.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a crossover. It's a Warcraft Ruby crossover. So, prepare for the edge!
And even leaving that aside, like, apparently this is after a battle with Gul'dan, so this is probably a free Death Knight. But even still, it's a Death Knight. Like, now, possibly the author could handle this well, but the odds of, you know, a Death Knight appearing and not just being instantly murdered by every hunter in sight. Fucking sneaky. They give off a miasma of death
and evil. Yeah, this is true.
The really, really strong ones, which if this guy's got both Frostmourne and Ashbringer, he's going to be one of them, literally rot the ground at their feet.
Yeah, I know.
And even if he himself was an okay guy, you know, as okay a guy as a Death Knight can be, you could never keep him in a city.
This is true.
Even leaving aside whether or not a literal aura of evil would attract Grim.
Well, I mean, not even that. You wouldn't really have to keep him in a city.
To piss themselves.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, it's not even like you have to keep a Death Knight in a city. Like, you could just drop him in the fucking Grimlands and it would be okay, because Death Knights don't need to sleep, eat, or, you know, drink.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the main problem here is going to be a power creep problem, because Season 1 of RWBY, not that, like, high level and power level, you know? It's like...
No, really not.
And then you got a fucking level 100 or whatever Death Knight dropping in with both Ashbringer and Frostmourne, some of the two most powerful artifact blades in existence on Azeroth.
I was gonna say, even if he's stripped of his power or whatever. 1 second.
So how you doing, Devil Spidey?
Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Even if he is, you know, knocked down to level 1.
Yeah. Well, I mean, see, this is.
He still has Frostmourne. He still has Ashbringer, and despite.
I mean, not even that. Like, that's actually an important part. If he's at level 1 again, if he's been stripped of all his power, he has fucking Frostmourne and Ashbringer. He's either going to be enslaved by Frostmourne almost immediately, or burnt to a crisp by Ashbringer. Like, literally, it requires your soul to be fucking ridiculously powerful to resist both of those effects.
I was going to say, like, maybe if they'd said, if they'd been like, if he'd had only one of them and he was knocked back to level 1, I could buy him resisting, because he already knows what it is.
Maybe. I would buy it, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. I would be willing to believe it.
I would be willing to pause my disbelief long enough for the author to give me a good reason why. But
Ashbringer and Frostmourne, like,
yeah.
Leaving aside, like, a level 1... It doesn't matter if it's a Death Knight. A level 1 undead that so much as puts a pinky finger on Ashbringer...
Yeah, you're gonna be...
will literally be turned into a pile of ash.
Yeah.
Just...
That's literally what happens. Anyway, we've waffled on long enough. Let's fucking keep moving on.
We've poked enough holes in the idiocy.
First crossover, blah blah blah, not hardcore, blah. This is my character with a background in an alternate universe. Goes, it will be slightly AU Ruby as well. Okay, this is another thing I do harp on sometimes. Only have one AU. I mean, it's fine if you have, you know, AU Harry Potter enters Rubyverse, or AU fucking World of Warcraft enters Harry Potter or something. That's fine. However, when you do an AU crossover, you do have to tell the story from the AU's point of view and not have another AU they're entering. Because my interest rises with an AU, because I'm like, okay, what changes are you going to make and how would that affect the story? I'm interested. Oh, they're both AUs, I don't fucking care anymore. I'm in the negatives of interest now. Because that's a lot of work, A. Fucking, it's an enormous amount of work to write a crossover normally, let alone a double AU crossover. And B, you don't have the skill for it. It's gonna be shit.
If you had the skill for this, you would be a published author by now.
Not even that. If they had the skill for this, I'd be looking at this story, and it'd be like, oh yeah, 8 chapters, 80k words. And I'd be like, oh, they probably know what they're doing. But no, 8 chapters, 10k words, this is a double AU crossover. It's gonna be a garbage fire!
And I don't care that it's like, oh, these are only slight AU. No.
Considering that you've never written fanfiction before, I have no idea what a slight AU is for you. And I don't think you do either.
Like, for all we know, slight AU means Team Ruby isn't Team Ruby.
For all we know, slight AU means the Death Knight's on Team Ruby. Blade clanged off, another Knight of the Ebon Blade. We were dueling. Death Coil. Death Hands. Pitiful. I have been nothing but disappointment. Our Lord Arthas spoke aloud from his position upon the Arceus. Make them. Death Hands, finish him. Complied with.
Stain shall be wiped clean from the ground.
Cernius, drew my blade. Ha ha ha, good work, Death Hands. Your power might even one day rival the Light's greatest champions. So what this is an immensely AU Arthas. Got it.
I was gonna say, this is... Okay, first off, so many problems with it. First off, no indication that it's still Arthas. Like, it's been 3 lines, a paragraph of internal thought. Like, you have to put some indication that Arthas is still talking.
The king's laugh continued after he stopped talking, so there we go.
Even ignoring that.
Yeah, no, it's just like...
First off, okay, Arthas, the real Arthas, would never tolerate anyone getting even remotely near his power level. He tried that. He saw what happened. He would kill them immediately.
Or send them off on a mission. They're honored to go on, and they're gonna die.
You have become strong enough to fight. I don't know who had Ashbringer at this point.
He set the Knights of Ebon Blade. That's actually why the Death Knights joined the 2 alliances. Because in Wrath of Lich King, what happened was the Ebon Blade was getting too strong, and so Arthas set them against the Holy Church in the Plague Lands.
Right.
Thinking they would all die.
Oh, right, and then they didn't, and then they were like, hey, he sent us here to die.
Yep.
Cool,
basically, so Arthas does show up during, like, the final part of the assault. And, you know, it was sort of like, I'm gonna show up because I do want this church destroyed, but I'm hoping when I show up, a majority of them will be dead and they've been weakened once more.
Right.
And then they drive Arthas back, and they get revealed that he basically wanted them to go die on the suicide mission that he could then mop up afterwards.
Right.
But
And
yeah.
then because he didn't learn his lesson from Sylvanas, they rebelled.
Yep. Indeed.
You think he would have learned after the first time he gave one of them the ability to think for themselves, even in the super limited capacity that was. Good word, I can't think.
Sylvanas.
What's her face? Yeah, Sylvanas.
Blah blah blah. Potential spoiler. No. No. I'm done. Already. No.
What do you mean, potential spoiler?
Literally, he wrote also potential spoiler in all caps. Good.
No, we'll just do the speed read to get through this.
Alright, Saphira's heat. I gotta wash this away with something.
No, what are you... Oh, Lord. Sneaky, you don't get rid of a bad memory by drinking it. No, that's not how you fix it.
Like, I'm not actually gonna read it, but it just fucking...
You already reported this, right?
Yeah, but like, I'm not actually gonna read it. I just want to read. Like, this is because it's in the Just Fucking Dumb.
Uh-huh.
Alright, here you go, Devil Spidey. I hope this satisfies your fetishes.
Oh, God. Why would you link this?
Saphira goes into heat while she and Aragon are searching for a new home for their riders. Will Aragon be able to help her?
No, because he's a man. He can't. The end. We're done here.
Apparently my adult stuff is liked on this website. Saphira's Heat. This is the first in a series of stories involving Aragon, Saphira, Bloodgarm, Tentacles, Murtagh Thorn, Ira, and Fernan. I always wanted to see more inheritance cycle tentacle stuff. An extreme rarity, apparently. I will fix that.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
I figure I'd upload one of the stories in the timeline that I'll be writing. Here's some warnings. Aragon types Saphira. Heat. Bathing. Public nudity. Voyeurism. Licking. Foot body worship. Minor anal tonguing. Minor vaginal tonguing. Bestiality. Oh, I'm glad that finally made its way onto the list. I thought it would be like the third fucking thing, considering what the fuck is going on here. And fellatio. Wait, the dragon sucking his dick?
Fuck this, I'm playing Fire Emblem.
Have you ever had your dick sucked by a dragon?
I think we both know the answer to
I
that.
don't think the teeth would exactly make that comfortable. It would be like getting your dick sucked by a shark.
Don't forget the teeth. Don't forget the scalding hot breath.
Oh yes, of course.
So even if you found a way around the teeth...
Oh god. That is, And wait, now, I am not one to claim how dragon anatomy works in the inheritance cycle, or in general, because fantasy creature.
Why am I being forced to listen to this? What fresh hell?
But the human tongue can only extend so far. And if we're going to have proportional subsections of the body on the dragon, I don't think the human tongue's going to be reaching far enough in there. You know what I mean?
I mean, I do. I wish I didn't, but I mean, he could always who's the guy who cut the flap of skin on his tongue to make it longer?
I don't know. Was that a thing?
I mean, yeah, because apparently you can increase like
Okay,
you know,
well, even if he does that still, like, okay, maybe, but I just the size difference.
I was gonna say, like that's what I'm saying. Will he be able to help her? No. Even assuming that he, even assuming that he wants to, which is a creepy assumption that I don't want to put too much thought into. You have the problem of he is a man with a normal dick. This is a dragon.
Yeah.
He, in order for her to feel anything, he would have to dive in head first and
See,
start
that's what
rotating
I
like
was
a
thinking
drill.
as well. I didn't want to say that part out loud, but that's what I was thinking as well. Like, he's gonna have to go like head fucking first into this.
Like, maybe if he went head first and rotated himself like a drill with magic, maybe, but
Now that's a mental image.
it's a drill to pierce the heavens, Sneaky.
It's a thrill to pierce something. Oh, anyway, yeah. Like I said, we're not actually reading this story. I just kind of brought this one up to fucking laugh at it.
Wait, there are 2 reviews. I didn't
Oh, no.
know one person. I didn't know that fanfiction had a dark side too. That's enough internet for the day. P.S. Not my cup of tea. This. Still, I wish you all the best. No, you should be wishing them all the worst because this is violating so many rules.
Interesting take on the inheritance cycle. Keep it up.
This is not a take on the inheritance cycle. This is after everything's happened.
Devil's Play's asking the real questions here. Will Aragon manage to impregnate a dragon?
Please. He's not a bard from D&D. Alright, how do I report this trash fire? Here we go.
You scroll to the bottom, yeah.
Action. Report abuse. Violation type.
So here's another just fucking stupid before we move on to another actual story. Ding da ding da ding 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 da ding da ding 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 ding. Sauron did nothing wrong.
I mean, he didn't.
He was only trying to make Middle-earth great again. And it's a sequel. Wow. Sequel... sequel to Sauron did nothing wrong. Oh, no!
What? Oh, boy.
Okay, so, let's read the first. So we can understand the crossover of My Little Pony and
What?
Lord of the Rings.
What? No.
You've previously disclosed your liking of My Little Pony, so I was like, oh, this will be good. This will be like his.
I said I used to watch it. Used to being the operative word there. Operative words.
Yeah, MLP, boy. It isn't Sauron and MLP like the best crossover you've ever seen.
I mean, maybe if it's actually Sauron showing up with the actual ring of power and a mace to start smashing heads, yes. You know what? I would read a story where Twilight Sparkle gets the Ring of Power and just becomes an evil, corrupt asshole who rules Equestria with an iron fist. I'd read that.
Can do not
Don't
miss.
miss last time you hit a cat.
You know, man, that cat deserved it.
It's a cat. It definitely deserved it.
Anyway, after Sauron is defeated, the Valor put him on trial to answer for his crimes. Still convinced he was in the right, he is rescued by an unlikely savior with an impossible plan.
Oh boy. So, Sneaky, you know how I have to scroll to the bottom to report abuse?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, because of that, I read part of the bottom of this story.
Oh, which one? MLP?
No, the
So Saphira and he, yeah, what's up?
Yeah. Well, he did use magic. Apparently, just on the spot, he just comes up with a spell to make him have a dragon-sized dick.
Well, that problem solved, I guess.
I mean, solved for a given definition of solved.
Sauron did nothing wrong, yet he was defeated. Well, I mean, Hitler did nothing wrong, yet the Allies beat him up.
Just find us the other piece of this dumpster fire.
Dragons are fucking size queens? I don't even know what that means.
I don't either.
Anyway, I did nothing wrong. Sauron stated evenly, grown in size, blah blah, calloused hand, everyone's face
Hold
palming.
on. What? Did you link the other story?
Didn't I? Well, I mean, you can always fucking get to it.
You didn't.
Anyway,
Well, no, I was just saying because you didn't link it for the chat.
I linked Reforged Iron Embers already, yeah.
Yeah, I was talking about the Sauron did nothing wrong one. Anyway, author's note: some terminology for the unfamiliar. Art of Valor, Maya. Okay, yeah.
Sauron rolled his eyes
good
at
things.
Yeah. Rolled his eyes at the dramatics. Jangled his chains. Blah blah blah. Fade in the void. You don't actually believe that, do you? Her face burdened by incredulity. I don't exactly say that's the right word to use there.
Yeah. Considered how to respond.
History of Arda, details. Of course, everything I have is done with the good of... Outrage, sycophants and toadies. Blindly following instructions, let your brother speak. We're one big happy family, brothers and sisters. I misspoke for that. I apologize. I've made mistakes. Among the greatest was following Melkor. Okay. Promises he made, he wasn't able to keep them. Probably never intended to. Glared at him. Could ever have regret the betrayal, blah blah. Is he trying to pull a what the Guten? Yeah, he's trying to pull a Gutenberg trial here.
Go away, feelings. I'm trying to be manipulative here. Okay. If this moron of an author thinks for even a minute that that's even a remotely acceptable way to write Sauron, the Dark Lord.
It's supposed to be cracky, I guess, because it does have the word humor in it. But like,
okay.
the problem here is it's not even funny.
I was gonna say, A, it's not even funny, but B,
Gutenberg trial. It's the trial that the Allies put the Nazis on, and they had various people come in basically to claim that the Nazis did nothing wrong. They were only following orders. Some people still got indicted, but some people did get off.
Well, basically, it came down to whether or not they were specifically at the camps, and if they were at the camps,
Or if
did
they knew about them.
did yeah, I was gonna say if they knew about the camps, or if they were at the camps and knew what was going on, then it was no, following orders in that case is not acceptable.
Yeah.
Like the soldiers that drove the trains, they didn't get off. But
specifically, the Gutenberg
soldiers,
trials were the trials of the high-ranking. You know, the
yeah, the whole event was the Nuremberg trials.
Yeah. Yeah. They made a documentary / movie out of that, actually.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's actually pretty.
The Nuremberg trials.
Pretty
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Devil Spidey, based on what's going on here, I would assume that this little trial here is
taking place in astral space.
No, I wasn't gonna say astral space. I was gonna say I assume this is taking place before the island of men sunk into the sea, because that was when Sauron's physical form was destroyed. Before that, he did indeed have a physical form.
I mean, even that, if this is like this, like, depending on where this is, yeah, this is true. I'm assuming this is like post the ring's been destroyed and Sauron no longer has a hold on the world, basically.
I mean,
so I think the author's trying to be like, oh, in the afterlife, Sauron had to go on trial. Poor management, of course. His methods were inefficient.
okay, but here's my other problem with this: the idea of this story, or it being a one chapter. Like, here's the thing: I don't even understand why this is a chapter. Like, if he's going to be sent, like, if he's being sent to therapy world, which I guess is My Little Pony. I don't understand, like, why is this a separate story? Like, why could this not be just chapter 1 of your idiotic story?
Like, yeah, A, yeah, B, it's like, I'm still reading through this as you're talking, and it's reading at someone attempting an Abbott and Costello skit. That's what it reads like.
And this is just another problem. Like, here's the thing. This is labeled as humor. If you'd made this one story, this reforged Iron Ember nonsense could have been kept as humor just fine.
Mm.
And you could have kept this, relatively speaking, treated this chapter with the seriousness that it deserved, and then moved on to humor in chapter 2. Because, as obnoxious as I think it is, there is plenty of humor value in placing Sauron in the My Little Pony world. Just like taking any horrible evil villain and placing them in My Little Pony presents humor value. Because it's the two it's ultimate evil and pretty much ultimate niceness.
I guess they're trying to make...
There is inherent humor in that.
Yeah, and like, I think they're trying to make out Sauron to be fucking German. He's ranting about inefficiencies and shit.
Yeah, no, like, again, here's the thing. They could have preserved all the humor if they'd just been like, no, he's an unapologetically evil, greedy bastard. And then when he ends up as a pony, because I assume he ends up as a pony, because that's what pretty much every story does. Yeah. Like, then it would be funny, because he wouldn't act... It humors the subversion of expectations. Everyone knows what's supposed to happen with My Little Pony, so when he's just a grumpy dick who's trying to scheme and steal power from everyone, that's going to present humorous situations. And if you want, you can always foil him at the end of the day in some funny power of friendship way. That's really all you need to do for crack-brained humor here. Not make him some model of German efficiency.
Yeah, no, he's like, oh, if everyone had just followed me, everything would have been fine. If only
No.
they let me make all the choices for them. You know, the inefficiency that they had going on was ridiculous. They were inefficient in making languages. They were inefficient in making kingdoms.
I saw it through only under great duress.
What's his name? Hallucinate. So you were telling me that was one time.
And his pet hobo slew my faithful servants and stuck in it.
Fool yourself. And please call me Gandalf. All my friends do these days. Oh, I didn't think we were friends. Maybe I should check my mail. Friends don't destroy friends' industrial utopias. Slavery is gosh. I prefer the term societal optimization. Like,
This is... Oh my god.
like, I think this is the problem I had with that fucking Dorkly article earlier with the D&D memes.
Uh-huh.
Like, they could have been funny. Except they were just trying so hard to be funny that they completely missed the humor.
Yeah. Like... Like, if you take D&D situations, filter out the obviously... Take out all but the most lewd ones.
Yeah.
And take out all the ones that are clear exaggerations or DMs not doing their job.
Yeah.
Then it gets funny. Like, for instance, there was, I forget where it was, but it was one. It was about a group. It was about a party that had a DM that railroaded them hard, and so all these stories were about what they did to jump the rails.
Yeah.
And all the ways they tried to jump the shark, and the hilarious things that the DM did to shunt them back onto the rails.
Yeah, that's good. But
That's funny because it's like, oh, we've all had that DM, or we all know who that person is, and we all know how much fun it can be to jump the shark on them.
well, I mean, it'd be jumping the rails. Jumping the shark indicates that you hit the climax way too early.
True.
And the problem here is
Yeah,
not because of the lack of humor, but the introduction of humor into a world where there is no humor on a fucking Dark Lord who is not humorous. Yeah. Now,
is
it
a
could be
large
done
part of it.
humorous. They could have done Sauron humorous. But they were like, how do I make sure I'm funny? Oh, I know, I shall be Nazi! Gash, 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 gotta gash the news! Like,
Yeah. Like I was saying before, you could have easily had humor by just taking an unrepentant, blatantly evil, blatantly power-grubbing Sauron and just stick him in an MLP. It's the same thing, like if you stick... It applies to any number of unrepentantly evil villains who want power. You know?
Yeah.
Sauron.
Put them
Wesker.
into a universe where the only way to really get power is through friendship.
Like, the Borg.
Borg would be a bad example.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, no. I mean, I've never read one, but I've seen some pretty funny ones, like Sarah Kerrigan, post Queen of Blades. Sarah Kerrigan gets turned into a pony.
That
was funny.
Because while she is hungry for power and ruthless, she's not evil.
I've
So
seen
there's humor
Alex
in
Mercer in there. That was funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, there can be humor there, but like,
But you don't have
don't
to,
go for
like,
the obvious shit of, oh, you know, I'm gonna make Sauron the stereotype of German efficiency.
Like, that has nothing.
Yeah, that's just cringy.
Yeah.
Chaotic good is what I.
If you put emphasis on chaotic, I'll agree with that.
Chaotic good Kerrigan.
Okay, come on. Roughly speaking,
Maybe later on. I would say she
that's
was
what I'm saying.
originally lawful evil.
Okay, no, that's the thing. She started off. I don't know if I would say lawful evil.
Well, no, she was definitely lawful evil. She followed her laws, and she wanted everyone else to follow her laws, which was be absorbed by the swarm and obey me.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I was talking about Kerrigan, the ghost.
Oh, well, Kerrigan
Just
the
normal
ghost would
Kerrigan.
definitely have started off as, like, neutral good or something.
Yeah, maybe chaotic good because she was fighting for a rebellion.
I wouldn't even say chaotic good at that point, though, because, like,
But
she...
anyway, the point is
Yeah.
some form of good that's not lawful. And just
Because
the
remember,
Queen
she
of
did
Blades.
turn on the rebellion the second she thought it wasn't, like, a genuine rebellion anymore. Chaotic would be too caught up in freeing the people to be cognizant of that.
Yeah. Um, and then obviously just the Queen of Blades is. I mean, let's be real. It's basically just chaotic evil.
Well, I mean, I would like to think
Everyone's
that
going
she
to
starts at, you know, neutral
Everyone's going
good.
to join the swarm. I don't care.
And
who
then she
dies,
gets
we'll
reborn
all
as the
become-
Queen of Blades, which is lawful evil. And then over the course of StarCraft, she just shifts across the evil spectrum and then up to the chaotic good section.
Yeah. Because by the time she finishes as the Queen, the Queen of Blades, and by finishes I mean by the time the events of all StarCraft have wrapped up with what may be the worst and laziest ending ever. But we're not here to talk about that. Yeah, I would agree with chaotic good. Anyway, but again, it's one of those things. There's plenty of humor value from taking people that are not going to mesh or fit in well with the whatever society Equestria has and putting them in there because they're going to subvert all the expectations and get themselves into weird situations and people aren't going to know how to deal with them. There's easy humor that you don't need German Hitler Sauron.
Also, the Abbott and Costello attempt at a trial was a bit...
Yeah. I do agree she was lawfully evil when captured by Raynor. She tried to be good again, but with her powers, she could only be chaotic good, a lesser of the two evils. Well, no, I mean, Raynor captures her and removes the power of the Queen of Blades from her. That fixes a lot of the problems with her mind.
Yeah.
Because remember, before then, she was basically Geost to hell and back. She was not in control of her actions. Yeah, I know the one you're talking about, buddy. But so he frees her from that, and then she goes back to being good, relatively speaking, until she thinks Raynor died, and then she makes herself back into a Zerg, into the Queen of Blades, for one purpose, and that express purpose is to kill Arcturus Mengsk. There's nothing good about it. There's no, I'm going to help people. It is.
Well, I mean, that would still fall under chaotic good because, like, that's her version of justice.
No, but I don't even know. But here's the problem. I don't think you can label it good because she is willing to slaughter every single person she has to get to Arcturus.
I suppose that would be chaotic
if they are guilty or innocent. Yeah. Like, she is like, I am doing this because I am going to kill Arcturus Mengsk for everything he did.
It's funny how this is a loader, yes. Well, I mean, that's just how things go, you know? We, 90% of the time, do not talk about the story we're supposed to be talking about.
Yeah, partly because we're trying not to. We're trying so very hard.
Anyway, let's get into it. After a delusional Sauron is defeated, he is sent to Equestria to be rehabilitated. Refusing to believe he did anything wrong, he decides to fix Equestria instead. Absurd skullduggery ensues. Contains Silmarillion elements. Takes place after Season 4. Sequel to Sauron Did Nothing Wrong.
I mean, I don't know when Season 4 happened.
I
I
don't
don't
know,
know what
yeah,
happened.
don't really
So,
care either. I love this story. Inside, blah, epic, please continue. I'm not even familiar with both. Magnetic hooves. Lawful evil. Mensk is... I would say Mensk is lawful neutral. Because he's not even like, oh, everyone has to follow my laws. He's more just like, I'm just gonna kill people.
I mean, I disagree with that. He absolutely thinks that people need to follow his laws because he knows best and he needs to be in charge.
Yes, but like I don't think like yeah, he set up a lawful evil empire. I don't think he personally is lawful evil. I think he's just evil. Like neutral evil. I think he's just evil. Like he'll do whatever he thinks needs to be done to further his own goals.
Yeah.
In a very evil fashion. Like, doesn't even think about, oh, maybe I should talk to them first. He's like, nah, I should fucking murder their whole planet.
What's that? They're not going to listen to me? Kill them from orbit. Or, I mean, you know, I'm pretty sure the best example we can give is, oh, hey, I need to get people on my side, so I'm going to summon the Zerg to I need to convince people that the current government can't protect them, so I'm going to kill an entire planet with Zerg.
Like I said, I think that's why I feel like Mensk is just neutral evil. Because he's not interested in laws. He's not interested in any of that stuff. He sees that as a means to an end to enforce his will. Because, like, lawful evil, that's like, you know, a mob boss. You know? They're cruel
I gotta
people.
go run and do garbage. I'll be right back.
Alright, yeah. They're cruel people, but they have rules. They have rules and they expect everyone, including themselves, to follow them. Now, maybe they don't always do that, but they still have that expectation. Like Al Capone, for example. I say Mensk is lawful neutral. Sorry, not lawful neutral. I say Mensk is neutral evil because he just did terrible things to get his goals done. Like, he could have bombed a place, or he could have, you know, set up the ruler there to fall with some planted evidence or something. But no, he just skips right to, alright, genocide. Like, it's not even a means to an end, or I'm liberating these people so they can fall under my infinite wisdom. It's like, no, just, okay, well, I dislike this area, so genocide. Or, you know, these people 10 million years, you know, these people 10 generations ago nuked my people, so genocide with Zerg. You know, it's like, you know. But lawful evil, because he does say, hey, these guys are evil, they are evil, we will kill them. That's true. But like I said, I feel like on a personal level, he's just evil, but on an empire-wide level, he's lawful evil. The games. The games, the games give you far less detail into the character than the books do. So if you've done the books, then you would know more about Mensk than if you would play the games. Because Manx isn't too much of a focus. It's more of Kerrigan and Raynor are focus in the games. And Manx is kind of just like that stereotype. Oh, they're books. Yeah, there's an excessive number of books. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, he definitely set up a lawful evil empire, but I wouldn't call him personally lawful evil. 'Cause he doesn't follow his own rules, and that's a key part of lawful evil is following your own rules. Yeah, he's just evil. He breaks his own rules all the time, but expects everyone else to follow him. That's just evil. That's not lawful evil. Yeah. But anyway, let us begin. This is a sequel, blah 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 blah. I'm not a doctor. I have no idea how concussions work. Bear with me. Yeah. If you're not a doctor and you're gonna write someone with a concussion, you have access to Google, mate. You can just go on to Google, be like, how do concussion, and you get your fucking results. So the side effects of concussions, how you could acquire a concussion, what you have to do with a concussion. It's a very basic injury, so it's very well documented. It's not like it's that hard to figure out how concussions work and occur. So that's just laziness on your part, so points are docked off for that one. There was no Google at that time. They had Galadriel Fountain only. Indeed. When Sauron awoke, the first thing he noticed was that he had a body. A healthy body. So, I was right. Sauron did not have a body in the previous fic. It was the afterlife. A healthy body at that, strong and hale, without the sickliness and fatigue he had become accustomed to after his ring was taken from him. For a moment he felt a surge of insane, desperate hope, only for it to be snuffed out like a candle when he reached for his power and found nothing. No, he was still a hollow, frail shell of his true self. Still he felt not whole, but solid. Like he could get up and meet the world head on, without the first gust of wind out of the west tearing him to shreds. It's a start, Sauron thought, with reluctant optimism. Though his eyes were still closed, he could feel gentle morning sunshine on his skin, and many years' worth of soft loam from an ancient forest beneath his back. Bird song filled the air, and a loud rushing sound told of a nearby river. The thought of water helped Sauron to notice the dryness of his mouth and throat as he sighed in annoyance. Bodies were useful tools, but like any tool, they had to be maintained. Still, he would cope. Alright. So, I'm gonna get some water, and since Atin's not here... Oh.
So what's going on?
Sauron is waking up. And I was right. This wasn't after the previous story was an afterlife thing.
Okay.
Yeah. He flexed his limbs, preparing to lift himself off the ground, and in doing so, he made a disturbing discovery. You can't be serious. You just can't, Sauron whispered, half to himself, half to the cruel, cruel universe. He was a quadruped. A thrice damned quadruped. The former Dark Lord held up his erstwhile hands and opened his eyes to confirm the nightmare. Hooves. He had hooves. Hooves didn't have thumbs. No.
I'm sorry, Anakin, she died. I'm sorry, Anakin. She didn't survive. You killed her. Insert scream.
His scream of despair echoed throughout the forest, and got a copyright strike from George Lucas. Anyway,
much.
Scattering a flock of brightly colored birds. Sauron hauled himself up as he began to hyperventilate. It wasn't his new form itself that was the problem. He was a shapeshifter by nature. He had been a quadruped many times before, and he knew how everything worked. But it had never been permanent before.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Yeah. I'll never work a forge again, he thought numbly, as ice crept through his veins. The idea was almost incomprehensible. Because I know My Little Pony, you can pick up shit with your hooves. Because obviously this show would be far and more harder to do. I have a son, an incestuous son. That's an interesting tale, Devil Spidey.
Mm-hmm.
I remember in Powerpuff Girls, the original, not the new one, they had the professor swap with one of the girls, swap bodies, and they made the joke that everyone would always make is, how the fuck do you pick shit up? Like, you don't have fingers, how do you pick things up? And then they had the girl inside the professor's body be like, how do I work these? Your hands, how do they move? How do I use these finger things? But yeah, no, like I give kudos to them for making that joke before everyone else did. Before everyone else tried to meme. The power of mind can lift objects, I guess. Hyperventilating, forge, smithing. Ah, yes, Sauron. Even though he was a Nazi and a Dark Lord God Emperor, he was always a smith at heart. You nailed it, author. They've taken
the
being
parts
a
where he
smith.
went to work for the bad guy because he was power hungry. We'll ignore that part conveniently. That has nothing to do with his
he
core
was a
personality.
smith at heart. He was just a gentle smith. It was a gardener! Shadow, spite, toxic spite. They call me cruel. I tortured people and killed them. I never took a man's hands. I'll show them all!
Yes, he did. He absolutely took people's hands. He took many things from many people because he was a terrible, evil human being.
He was a gardener of roses! But he could never find the silver-petaled one. That was his one true love.
Don't you start.
I still think we need to write the crack fic. Where Team Ruby is just plants.
I'm sorry, what?
Do you not remember that? Oh, was that... did Max and I never tell you about that one?
I don't think you two ever brought that up for me.
Okay, so basically, like, wicked long ago, like, back in Season 1 of Ruby, Max was thinking about trying to write a Ruby fic where his OC came from the Grimlands and taught, and came to Beacon and was like, hey, I need a job. And Ozpin was like, well, we always need a janitor. Because it was going to be sort of a cracky but serious story. Where he's going to be very competent, but his job's the janitor, so he typically ends up cleaning up after all the messes. But you know, like, the various combat events that do happen near Vale and Beacon, he would be like, oh yeah, just fucking killed them all. But yeah, we never got that far into it. But it did spawn a cracky idea from it, in that basically he was so good at hiding, he would hide in a bush, but he was so good at concealment that no one really thought anything of the bush moving around that he was hiding in.
So he was Creed.
Yes. And it got even better when we were like, what if he taught Team Ruby to do this? And then we thought up of various pun-based plants for Ruby to be. Like, one was a ficus tree.
Get out.
Or ficus, yeah, ficus is not tree, it's a fern. right? Anyway, ficuses were involved. And basically the joke of the story would be that all of them learned from him how to hide inside a plant, and no one thought anything weird of it. And the plants always had the weapons just like hanging from their branches or something, but no one would ever see the plants move. And whenever they looked away or blinked, they would move, sort of like Weeping Angel style. And, you know, like, the dock event would happen, and there's just a bunch of plants there, and they look at the plants, they're like, what the fuck, why are there weapons on the plants? And they turn away, and they're all defeated. You know, like, each time they turn back, more and more the White Fang are defeated, and the plants are just there.
No,
but,
sorry.
Yeah. It was a stupid,
Maybe it's
silly...
because you're trash at explaining things. But,
yeah. I know, it was a stupid, cracky story, and we're like, well... This would be dumb. It's why we never went anywhere with it, you know. Because it was like amusing to laugh about, but that's where it would stay. It wasn't gonna get published.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Because we were like, how are we even gonna actually do this though? Like there was so many scenes that just wouldn't work. It was more or less based off of the Sir Barrington thing.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. It would be read right now, Kappa. And be incredibly trashed. Oh yeah, we would be reading it right now on this stream and we'd be trashing it. This is true. Maybe next time Max is in here, we'll do some of Max's fix.
Come on now, that's rude. We want him to come back.
I'll teach him not to be here. Anyway, I'll show them all. Body was moving. He's a horse, a beast, blah blah blah. Sending him to specialists. Peasant or tramp to serve as a beast of burden and learn humility. I'll show them all. I'll show them all. I'll show them all. Jumping, blah blah blah. Horse, never think he's ever heard of. What the hell am I? Oh, essentialism, huh? Are you a philosopher? Removed his head very slowly. Enormous dragon creature, covered in bright purple scales. Comically large mustache. I took a class in college. Interesting stuff. The creature went on. Say, are you okay there? You've seen a ghost. Took over. Tried to scamble away from the flamboyant carnivore.
Alright. That one gets that gets a chuckle from me.
Hit his head on a boulder.
Alright, well,
Yeah.
It's 8:23. I need to go get dinner.
Alright then, I'll keep going.
Deal with... Yeah, I was gonna say I have to go deal with screaming idiots, so...
You have fun with that, I'll wrap up the stream.
I can't wait. Everyone's fucking gone from my house. Everyone will be gone, and I can be alone. And I don't have to deal with people. Oh my god, it'll be so nice. It'll be so nice. Why can't I be like you? Why can't I be lucky enough to just live alone as a hermit who can cook when he wants and sleep when he wants and say what he wants? I mean, sure, I'd be lonely as hell, but you know what? I'll take it.
Alright, you go do that. Time for some alone time, Kappa. Yep, indeed. He's gonna go masturbate furiously now. We don't want to intrude on that. Trust me. You don't want to intrude on that. Dr. Horse, blah blah blah, heartbeat, patient, condition, minus loss of consciousness, ice pack, average for an earth pony, active labor, history of injuries, white scars on the neck, bite marks, punctures, jagged vertical chunk that had been gouged out of his patient's forehoof, like a knife wound. Implications were unthinkable, and he was too professional for wild conjecture, but his pony was rough life. Grabbed a flashlight with his horn, carefully opened his eyelids with his hooves, yellow eyes, concussion, bed rest and overstimulation, blah blah blah. Wind knocked out of him by a powerful kick to the chest. I bite. Yeah, go jack off, you fucking piece of shit. Leave me alone with my trash fiction and my figments of imagination that represent the audience. Blah blah blah, My Little Pony. So yeah, it's My Little Pony. Blah blah blah. Sauron's schmoozing it up with ponies. Now the ponies know about Vala. Yeah, blah blah blah. Mad scheme. Valar. How can I deny him redemption? Okay, so apparently Luna is also Hitler? Fucking, okay, whatever. Let's see if we got any more good ones that are truly lame that I can cover by myself. Lord of the Rings fanfic, Lord of the Rings fanfic, Harry Potter fanfic, X-Men. Well, I suppose I could take a look at Devil Spidey's updated fiction. I could do that. I could do that. The update one is not online, it's with me. Ah, I see. I see. Well, that is unfortunate then. I mean, there's not much I can say about most things. Typically, Harry Potter is more my forte among the group. But let's see if I can't find a Harry Potter one to talk about then. Favorite HP book / film. I didn't really watch the films past like the fourth one because at that point I had already become apathetic to films. Favorite book or film? Honestly, I don't really have one. I never really liked the Harry Potter series that much. I mean, like, I liked the plot, sort of, to the point where I kept reading the books. But I actually ended up reading the books because of a bet I had with someone. In 7th grade, we had a competition among a group of people to see who could read the series the fastest. And I ended up reading all of the books in like 6 days. But I didn't like this series because it had a couple problems with it that were like pretty significant in terms of characterization. Like I didn't like the later on books because that was when people should have started being competent and they weren't. I started reading the books because the main character looked like me. That's alright. Good for you. Uh, but I read the books because they were there and I needed something to read. But like I said, I read the Harry Potter books previously before the bet, but only up to like the third or fourth. And then with the bet, I read all seven. But like I said again, I only saw the movies up to like the fourth as well because I just wasn't that interested in the series, and I disliked the majority of the characters. I dislike Ron significantly because it's just so like all the characters I feel like had a problem with being pretty fucking cliche or stereotypical. Still believed in Santa. I mean, yeah, there's yeah, they were that long ago though, weren't they? Well, but no, it's I just didn't like the characters. At the end of the day, I just didn't like how incompetent everyone was. Because like I understand incompetence in the first couple books because again that those were aimed at first, second, third, fourth graders. And that's the kind of section of people that you write books for, kids saving the day because your audience is kids. Yeah, I hated Ron and Luna. I liked Luna, if only because she wasn't like hyper cliched in a negative fashion. Yeah, yeah, and yeah, hated Hermione. Yeah, exactly. I really disliked Hermione because I knew a couple people in real life that were super know-it-alls similar to Hermione, and I didn't like them, and I didn't like Hermione because I just people who act like they're better than you because they think they know more about something than you. I just don't like it. It's stupid. And the worst part is they made that into a plot point in the books. Like, oh, everyone has to go to Hermione. It's the same problem I had with Naruto and with Shikamaru, where they made Shikamaru super smart, and only plans could come from Shikamaru. Until the author realized that if only plans could come from Shikamaru, then Naruto can't be shown to be so great and awesome and wow. So then Shikamaru stopped making plans. Um, reminds me of Tourist Attraction, yeah. Yeah, I also I didn't like that part either. Like, I didn't like Ron because he was just I can't say that without sounding weird. No, no, I understand what you're saying. Like, like, oh, what about this thing? And then you get the fucking Wikipedia entry on it. It's like, oh, great, thanks. I just wanted to know if it was sharp or something. Um, no, I get what you mean. Explaining everything to excessive detail. Ron was there for character development? Yeah, I definitely think Ron was there for character development or a comparison or something to show that Harry is maturing or fucking whatever the author thought they were using him for. But he was just a terrible character. Um, so cliched. I don't think I've ever seen a Ron in real life. Dumbledore. Now, see, that's the funny part. J.K. Rowling never actually said Dumbledore was gay in any of the canon fiction. The only time Dumbledore was called gay by J.K. Rowling was during an interview after all seven books had come out, and it was an offhanded thing that she answered in a question. It was like the question was like, uh, something about homosexuals in the Harry Potter verse, and she was like, "Oh yeah, well, I was gonna put Dumbledore being gay in there, but I just couldn't find the right spot for it." And that's all that was ever said about that. Many fans have presented some interesting points. No, yeah, no. I have seen a lot of Harry Potter fiction, and yeah, obviously, uh, some of them have used the evidence that fans presented as, a good way of talking about that. But I hated Dumbledore. If written today, he would be gay. Yeah, I 100% agree with you. Um, yeah, it's now. Yeah, I fucking hate identity politics, and yeah, you're right. It would be a thing. It would be a thing that would be included in. It would be like, oh yeah, Dumbledore's gay. Oh yeah, Dumbledore's gay, and then Dumbledore would burst out of a nearby closet. I'm gay, guys. Yeah, it would be reminded. Yeah, fucking at this rate with the whole child pedophilia normalization thing, I would not be surprised if the Harry Potter books were written in this day and age that we would have some sort of Dumbledore unrequited love for Harry Potter going on. But regardless of that, I disliked Dumbledore because J.K. Rowling is trash. J.K. Rowling is absolute garbage when it comes to writing characters with any form of depth to them. Like, book Voldemort had no goals, had no real goals besides, I'm gonna take over the world / Britain using purebloods to rule them or something by killing everyone first or whatevs. Question mark, question mark, question mark. Rowling has become overhyped, yes, significantly so. I actually saw an interview she did back when she released the first book, and she was asked why she chose the name J.K. Rowling as her pen name. Yeah. But anyway, so in the interview, she's like, "Oh yeah, I chose the name J.K. Rowling for my pen name because I didn't think boys would read this story if they saw Jocelyn Rowling on the front cover." And I just sat there and I'm like, "Bitch, you're writing a book for fucking first graders, and you think boys are gonna pay attention to the author name? They're seeing a kid riding a fucking broom with a wand. That's all the kid needs to fucking read your story. You fucking bitch." Yeah. Yeah, no, she thought fucking first grade boys wouldn't read the story because she was a female author. Yeah, she was this retardedly toxic feminist even back in that time. I have zero respect for Rowling, and I have zero any positive feeling for Rowling. She shit out okay story with really cliche characters that got a fucking toxic fan base twice the size of anything else I've seen besides maybe Naruto. Hey, this MLP book is written by Stan Lee. It must be good. Yeah, fucking exactly. Like, oh yeah, and I even talked with my friends after I saw that interview. Right, I have some guy friends and I have some girlfriends, and I was like, yeah. So, do you pay attention to author names? And some of my female friends were like, yeah, I guess. All of my guy friends were like, I don't even know half of the authors of the books I've read. Or more, considering some of them. Like, I know like 3 authors, and that's because I specifically either hate them or I've looked for their books. What I only like about Harry Potter today is Snape. Yeah, I guess. I'm ambivalent about Snape. Um, I'm ambivalent about Snape specifically because they could have gone somewhere with Snape, but they didn't. She didn't. It's like, oh, but he was trying to preserve the memory of Lily all along. He was actually part of the good guys all along because Voldemort killed Lily. But they went through this really complex, intricate plot of betrayal and betrayal and betrayal with triple, quadruple agents. And it's just like, Yeah, Snape was meant to be a tragic hero, but it was just like, you're the fucking potion master of Voldemort. Literally just poison the fucking potion, give it to him, and be like, oh, Voldemort's dead. That's it. GG. Let's go find his fucking Horcruxes and blow the fuck out of them. Yeah, exactly. Twist of a twist inside another twist. Like, fucking the guy had access to poisons. Like, infinite access to poisons with a shit ton of money to get them all. He could have lied to Voldemort and been like, yeah, no, I need this poison for this potion or something. Fucking poisoned all the Death Eaters. And then, like, fucking poisoned Voldemort or just AK'd him in the night or something. And like, boom, done. All of his followers are dead. Voldemort's dead for now. Let's go find his Horcruxes and off them too. Bing, bang, boom, done. But no, he didn't do that. He was like, ah, man, I'm gonna be a double, triple agent who's pretending to be a double agent. But wouldn't that defy the rule of not overpowering the hero or villain? Yeah, I guess, but see, that's the point, though, is they included a character that could easily do that, and not only easily do that, would do that, and not only would do that, should have done that by the way they wrote his character. But they didn't. She didn't make him do that, even though the way she portrayed his character, I would have believed him doing that. But, fucking gotta go do some M. Night Shyamalan stuff and drag it out a full fucking 7 years. Because reasons. And, yeah. The whole thing's fucking dumb. Uh, and I greatly dislike the community around Snape. Or Snape, well, they always, like, there's a big community around Snape becoming Harry's, like, adoptive father and shit. Um, or fucking sex partner when he's, like, 10, and it's weird. But I dislike the whole adoptive father because, like, that's not current Snape though. That's the very out of character Snape. Have I read the latest? No. I specifically am ignoring any new books past the seventh because of J.K. Rowling's comment of, yo, yeah, Hermione's black. I never actually said she was white, except you described her as white in the third book, and you casted her as a white character in all 7 movies. And before people bring up, oh, well, she couldn't make this decision to change it afterwards, she could, and she has. She actually changed the race of one of the characters in the movies. Lavender Brown was originally a black character. I believe it was Lavender Brown. But one of those girls was originally was played by a black child actress. Um, but that was when they were a background character. But the second they became an important part of the movie to deliver some sort of plot relevance, J.K. Rowling had them cast a white character, a white child actress instead. From then on, so J.K. Rowling actually changed the race between movies of one of the characters because they would have plot relevance in that movie. So when she says, oh yeah, Hermione was actually black all along, bullshit. Fucking bullshit. If Hermione was black all along, you would have casted her as black. Because it is 100% confirmed that J.K. Rowling had absolute power over who was cast in the movie. That was part of the contract. So if J.K. Rowling wanted the character to be black, they would have been black. If she wants the character to be white, they would be white. But yeah, no. So that's why I fucking hate Cursed Child. I hated the epilogue. So anything that comes after the epilogue is dumb. I just think the whole controversy surrounding it was fucking dumb. Same thing with this whole female Doctor Who shit. It's all fucking dumb. I hate identitarian shit. I hate pandering shit. I hate tokenism. It's all fucking retarded, and it ruins good stories. Also, I hate Harry time scanning. It's even worse than the epilogue. How could it possibly be worse than the fucking epilogue? I thought that was cringy as fuck. Like, why the hell is Harry getting together with Ginny? Who the fuck knows? Why are Ron and Hermione dating? I don't fucking know. Why did they have kids? Who the fuck knows? But they did. I decided to give the female Doctor Who a chance. See, I would have. I would have given female Doctor Who a chance. Except the problem with female Doctor Who for me is that in an interview, she said, I am a feminist first and a woman second. And that becoming the female Doctor Who was, it's about time, and this is a victory for feminism. And I'm just like, yeah. And then I was like, okay, maybe having a feminist female Doctor Who still won't mess the story up. Then I saw someone link and explain why it will, using the viewer statistics of the seasons, the past seasons, all the way from Tenet onwards. Obviously, Tenet was a fan favorite and it had the most views. But the latest season, before the female Doctor, all right, let me get to that, and then we'll get to Cursed Child, and then we'll get to the thing you want to share. Remember it. The latest season where they had the black lesbian be the companion was actually the least watched season by a significant margin. It was like a good several million views less than the previous season. I mean, I can see the link. So you can link it in, but only I'll be able to see it. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm not having good hope for the feminist, because if when they tried to diversity with the black lesbian, they're going to do even worse with the plot on this one. Moffat is gone. Moffat. Oh, I know rant mode's on. I've been fucking ranting for a while now. Overall, I like Lord of the Rings. However, I feel like Tolkien rips off Harry Potter. There are several parallels. Sauron, Dark Lord, evil, white hair, blah blah blah. Reminiscent, you know. Shablo, Chamber of Secrets, plot, blah. Why didn't he write the book? What? Now I see Tolkien that is on about coming with The Hobbit in December. Let me find. Why didn't he write the book? I still like Lord of the Rings, don't get me wrong, but I wonder if Tolkien ever said an interview where he borrowed the elements from Harry Potter. I am not sober enough for this. This reminds me of the time. You remember the show? Fucking what was it called? Glee. That's what. Do you ever see Glee? With all the fucking faggots and shit in it, who always shouted about how gay they were. Okay, so you know how they do a song in every episode, right? So, Glee did "Don't Stop Believing" at one point in one of their episodes, and I legitimately had people talking around me in my peer group had people talking about how they're angry at Journey for ripping off Don't Stop Believing from Glee. And that they liked the original from Glee better than Journey's cover. I shit you not. Yeah, yeah. I fucking sat there just stunned by the sheer level of retardation I had just been exposed to. But anyway, so you were saying Cursed Child was bad? Worse than bad. Oh, go on. Well, while you type up the whole everything that's wrong with Cursed Child, I'll quickly cover Warcraft Wizardry. At the age of 4, Harry knew more than most about the way the world worked until Dudley brought home a game that would change the way they both looked at the world. 11 chapters, 18,000 words, 724 reviews, 12... What? No, sorry, 2,000 favorites and follows. This story has been updating since 2009. It has taken him 8 years to write 18k words. 8 years to write 18k words. And yes, please just type up as much as you can about Cursed Child so I can fucking kill myself after this stream. Is what done? Oh, no, this story is not completed. The Warcraft Wizardry, it is not a finished story. It is not a finished story. It is not even close to a finished story. It's got 2,000 favorites and follows though. Let's see, copy and paste this. The first chapters of the book summarize 4 years. Da-ding, 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 ding, ding, da-ding, 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 ding, da-ding, 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 ding, ding, da-ding, 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 ding. First chapter of the book summarizes 4 years of the Harry Potter son's Hogwarts life. 4 years and nothing happens. The first chapters summarize 4 years. Holy shit, talk about time skip. Son goes into Slytherin, befriends Malfoy's son, who's also in Slytherin, and Mystery Girl. Years go on, and his son goes full emo. Well, you done it again, J.K. Rowling. You don't know how to fucking write a story. Hyped up, bitch. Harry knew that men. Oh, okay, there we go. Headset cut out for a second. It was not written by her. Oh, okay. But she authorized it. Right? She authorized it. Harry knew many things about the way the world worked by age 4. He knew that he was not loved like the other children he saw play outside with smiles on their faces. He knew Edgelord mode. It has her name. Oh, fucking, yeah. Like I said, J.K. Rowling has shit editing. She has shit writing. She's just a fucking terrible person in general who happened upon a decent, okay plot, and that had no real saturation in the market yet. The mystery girl tells Harry's son about some item to go back in time. What? He knew he was considered to be a burden despite the fact that he already took care of most of the chores on the inside of the house and quite a few on the outside that he was big enough for at 4 years old. Really. He knew the way he was treated, the yelling, the punches. Not semicolon, that's a full colon. The lack of food and the small cupboard that he slept in were not right. He also knew that no one cared about the scrawny whelp that lived in number 4 Privet Drive. Capitalized number. He was invisible to everyone, and he liked it better that way. The two, along with Malfoy's son, go back in time with Mystery Girl. It's not clear enough. Harry, meanwhile, starts to have nightmares about Voldemort that is never explained. Again, okay. Boy, get your lazy arse out of bed and fix breakfast up before my diddums starves to death. Aunt Petunia's shrill voice woke him up as it almost did every morning. He sighed as he rolled on his side and put his new glasses on. The Dursleys had not been happy that they had to spend money on him when the lady at daycare they had left him in when they visited Aunt Marge took him to an eye doctor, and she noticed that he squinted all the time. They couldn't get out of buying him glasses without looking bad, and they would not stand for that. Needless to say, he would probably never get left at a daycare again. Oh my god, they just keep fucking... They are really liking these semicolons. He would either be taken along or left behind in the house. I mean, that is a proper use of semicolon, though, so kudos to them. Something, something. The trio gets to the Goblet of Fire's movie, and Harry sons him being ridiculed. Wait, so they traveled back in time to the fourth book? What kind of device is this? Jesus fucking Christ. Like, the time turner was like hours. They found some artifact that literally lets them go back like 20 some years. So it's the 18, the first year. 18 years later was the first year, which means 22 years ago was the Goblet of Fire, and then 3 years up, so that's 25 years ago. The device, yeah, no, that's the time turner. The time turner that Hermione used literally did an hour at a time. They don't go back literally 25 years. So that's already breaking the rules of that universe. I mean, I guess they could go back 25 years if they turned it. Okay, so each time you turn the time turner, that's 1 hour. So 25 years to hours. Oh. Okay, so 25 years to hours would be, okay, 2.2 million times. They would have to turn the time turner 2.2 million times to go back in time 25 years. And that's without stopping, because if you stop, it just sends you back in time. Okay, I'm waiting. And while I'm waiting, I'll continue this. Harry, Ron, and Hermione also go back to save them? Save them from what? Of an unexpected evil? What the fuck? What the hell? What the fuck is Cursed Child even? Hmm. Turns out the mystery girl is Voldemort's daughter or niece. And wanted to come back to kill Harry Potter. Fucking That doesn't even make sense. Like, Voldemort's dead 22 years ago. At what point in time did he have the time to fuck someone to make a kid? Like, and we don't even know if the body he got in the ritual was a real body or not. So even farther back, it would be the last time Voldemort would be capable of inseminating something would be back when he fucking died to Harry Potter when he was a 1-year-old. So that daughter would be like fucking years old. Like, daughter would be fucking. Oh my god. It gets worse? What do you mean it gets worse? Oh god. I don't. I don't know. Dursleys had not been happy, blah blah blah. Made breakfast mechanically, been doing it for 6 months as a 4-year-old. After he was done breakfast, he got rotten apples and water. Waited so he could refill their glasses. It took an hour for them all to finish. He cleaned the table and did the dishes. Maul. Dursley's going, head out, list of chores. A solid smack to the back of his head that almost sent his glasses to the floor. Eye roll. Gained senses, left, he did the list. Mopped, dusted, organized, and polished the entire house as a 4-year-old. Harry Potter and his son either go back in time to when Voldemort was about to kill his family, at his doorstep hearing his parents die. Okay. So Cursed Child is basically a story in which someone goes back in time. So then the heroes go back in time farther than the first person went back in time to stop the person from going back in time? Okay. Like, if Voldemort's already dead, then you can't avenge him? So you'll never have gone back in time in the first place, which means that you guys would never have gone back in time in the first place? Yeah, it's just... Time travel the movie. Yeah. That's just stupid plot. That's just dumb. She is Wait, she's the daughter of Voldemort. So what? Was she fucking cryogenically frozen for like 20 some years? Because like she would be, let's see, Harry grew up to 18, so she'd be 18 years old, and then 18 years later, so she'd be 36 years old, and then 4 years later, so she would be 40. Born in yeah, she would be 40. Wait, she was born in secret in the 90s, but Voldemort was dead in like 81. Yeah, no, no. Voldemort died in like 81. I remember because the story started with Harry Potter in like the 90s. Yeah. And I remember that specifically because J.K. Rowling said she made the time period it took place in so far back enough because modern devices like cell phones and guns would have fucked up the story. Harry Potter was born in the 90s? Or because if Wiki is saying Harry Potter was born in the 90s, then that means 10 years from then. Yeah, I remember Malfoy's son being named Scorpius. If Harry Potter was born in the 90s, that means 10 years from then it would be around 2001. That means 2007 would be around the books ended. But even then, if the daughter was born in the 90s, even then she would be like fucking 30 something. So why is she disguised as a fourth year? How is she disguised as a fourth year? Like, this makes no fucking sense. This sounds like an amazingly trash fan fiction that for some reason got published. That's what this story sounds like. A really shit fiction that got published for some reason. I didn't like it. I didn't like time travel back in the third book. Don't like time travel now. It's it's usually convoluted. It's usually fucking retarded. It's usually just it fucks up the plot. Introduces so many plot holes. Introduces so many. It's just a bad thing to use in general. Amos Diggory went to Harry time turner to go back in time to save his son. Harry refused, but his son Albus overheard Diggory's and saved Cedric. To enact their plan, they went to the Harry Potter. They found their way to St. Oswald's home, where Delphi, posing as his niece, pretended to take care of him. Stolen time turner. Alternate realities, with the first seeing Hermione, the bitter defense against the Dark Arts teacher, while Ron was in less than happy marriage with Padma. The second seeing the world with Order of the Phoenix and Dumbledore's army lost. To many attempts, including Albus being erased by their changes, Scorpius manages to restore the correct timeline and decides to destroy the Time Turner, not trusting the Ministry to do so. Then he sent an owl to Delphi, arrived at Hogwarts, saved Cedric, became a Death Eater and murdered Neville. Cedric suggesting they should destroy the Time Turner. Will not be saved. Okay. And then what? She knocks both of them out, takes it, and goes back in time? Yeah, I know Albus is Harry's son. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So 2017. So 2000s. So I guess Harry would be born. Okay. I guess I was wrong. Harry Potter would be born in the 90s then. Um. That makes no sense, but okay. Blah blah blah. Cedric. Prototype version of the powerful time turner. Harry Scar. Somehow will be returning. Uh huh. Uh huh. Alternate reality in which Albus was sorted into Gryffindor. Not that Rose was never born. Albus discovers that's because they chose to disguise themselves as Durmstrang, causing Hermione to become suspicious of Victor and go to the ball with Ron. As a result, Ron never experienced jealousy fundamental to his relationship with Hermione and fell in love with Padma at the ball and eventually became married with a son named Panju. Yeah, no, yeah. They're breaking their own fucking rules. From Scar, blah blah blah. Voldemort nightmares. Speaking of the portrait of Dumbledore, he's become convinced that Scorpius is a threat to Albus, and tries to have the boys kept apart by forcing McGonagall to keep tabs on Albus with the map. Their friendship is destroyed, and they reconcile after they steal his invisibility cloak. Refuses to enforce Harry's request. Harry himself is persuaded to relent after a conversation with Draco and Ginny. So another attempt to use the time turner, this time by humiliating him during the second task. When Scorpius returns to the present day, Albus is not with him, and Scorpius finds himself in a reality in which Harry is dead and Voldemort rules the world. Banjo-Kazooie indeed. Scorpius discovers a result. Cedric joins the Death Eaters, kills Neville, preventing Nagi from knowing. Harry now dead. Albus never existed. Fascist regime. Blah blah blah. Popular head boy and Quidditch star. Dolores becomes the new headmistress. Patrols the schools with the mentors. Anti-resistant Scorpius time turner. The alternate Ron, Hermione, and Snape sacrificing themselves to the Dementors in order to allow him to do so. Unites with Albus. Two boys find their parents. Scolds Albus. Danger inside their parents will continue to keep it. Attempt to destroy them, but they're joined by Delphi. Delphi was in charge of the ministry in the alternate timeline. She takes them captive, later revealing her intention of restoring the alternate timeline. After the adults learn that disappeared with Delphi, they confront Amos, only to discover that Delphi is not his niece, but the daughter of Voldemort and Bellatrix. Searching their room, she is following a prophecy that, if fulfilled, would lead to Voldemort's return. Final challenge of the Triwizard. Prevent her from acting. Delphi uses the time turner to travel back in time, and inadvertently takes the boys with her, and destroys the time turner, leaving them stranded. Abandoned by Delphi, Albus and Scorpius discover they had been taken back to the night that Harry and his parents were killed, and planning to kill Harry before Voldemort can do so. An invisible message on Harry's baby blanket, knowing that the blanket would become stained with love potion and expose the message to Harry. Meanwhile, in the present, Draco reveals that Time Turner was a prototype for a perfected model owned by him, but they remain unable to rescue the boys due to their uncertainty over which time period they've entered. After he receives a message, and his allies use Draco's Time Turner to stop Delphi. While waiting for Delphi, they deduce he intends to convince Voldemort to abandon his attempts to kill Harry. Disguises himself as Voldemort using transfiguration to distract Delphi. And they allow the murder of Harry's parents to play out. Sentenced to life imprisonment. What the fuck is this story? This is so fucking stupid. This is literally reading like a really shitty fiction. That's just like, oh, well, I have to keep the readers interested somehow, so let's take another twist and throw it in there. Fucking writing an invisible message on a baby blanket that they knew would be stained by a love potion so they could go back in time and, like, what the? That is so fucking... That story is a play. That's even worse. They turned a really shit fiction into a play. Jesus Christ, it's fucking awful. The play turned into... I realize the play turned into a book. What I'm saying though is that it reads like a really shit fan fiction that someone wrote, that someone was like, I'm gonna make a play out of this, and they made a play out of it, and for some fuck all reason, people enjoyed the play, and then they're like, I can milk this more and make a book out of it. 19 years after the Deathly Hallows. Okay. Now I'm unsure about the ending. Fucking the ending is everything went back to normal, but people learned their lesson and were a little bit more active. Like, that's literally the most cliche shit ending ever. There was no consequences because it was time travel, so all the time travel got undone by more time travel, and therefore nothing ever happened, but they all remembered it. Hum diddy hum. How do I write a completely inept story that at the same time doesn't affect the canon whatsoever? Oh, I know, I'll use time travel. So therefore, anything that happens can be undone with more time travel. All right, I've ranted on for a bit longer than I intended to, but that is we have I have exhausted myself with this cursed child bullshit. We'll be covering this story next time on Friday. Yes, we will. Okay. Friday will be the last fan fiction for a while, as I will be traveling, and I'm not quite sure how much internet access I'll have, and I don't know if I'll have internet access on Tuesday and Friday of next week. But this Friday, I will definitely be having a Fanfiction Friday broadcast. Thank you again for joining us. Anyone that is currently watching, anyone that has watched the archive, or on YouTube, or etc. If you've made it this far, I'm fucking impressed. If you want to see more of this, you can either check out the YouTube link below, if you're on Twitch, and watch the entire archive series on our YouTube page. If you want to see more of this live, 7 p.m. typically, ignore this one, Eastern Standard Time, to catch us on Tuesdays and Fridays. That's all I have to say. So, sayonara. Peace the fuck out.